The old landline phone on the hall table was a relic, a cream-colored dinosaur kept only for emergencies and its nostalgic charm. For Leo, its shrill ring at exactly 12 a.m. was a physical blow, jolting him from the edge of sleep. Heart hammering, he'd stumbled into the hall. The caller ID was blank. "Hello," he'd mumbled, his voice thick with sleep. There was no answer. Only a low, wet sound, a rhythmic, hitching breath, like someone struggling to draw air through fluid-filled lungs. It was followed by a faint, metallic scraping, like a chain being dragged over stone. "Hello? Who is this?" The breathing hitched, then the line went dead. Leo wrote it off as a prank. A wrong number. But the next night, as the grandfather clock in the living room finished chiming midnight, the phone rang again. Same empty caller ID. Same ragged, desperate breathing. This time, as he held the cold plastic receiver to his ear, he heard the distinct sound of weeping, a low, hopeless sob that made the hairs on his arm stand up. And from the kitchen, the sound of a cabinet door slowly creaking open all on its own. He slammed the phone down. His heart was a frantic drum against his ribs. The house was silent again, but the cabinet door under the sink was indeed open, a dark, yawning mouth in the dimness. The calls became a terrible ritual. Each midnight, the ring would slice through the silence. Leo stopped answering, but it didn't matter. The answering machine would click on after 4 rings, and the sounds would pour into the house anyway. And each time, something would happen. A light would flicker and die. A family photo would be found face down on the floor. The temperature in the hall would plummet, his breath misting in the air as the weeping echoed from the machine's tiny speaker. He was being haunted. Not by a ghost in the walls, but through the phone line. Sleep-deprived and paranoid, Leo began to dig. He searched through old newspapers online, scoured town records, and finally, with trembling hands, he called his elderly grandmother. "Grandma," he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "The old house. Did anything ever happen here? Something bad?" There was a long silence on the other end. When she finally spoke, her voice was thin and papery with fear. "Oh, Leo. We never talked about it. Before our time, a man lived there. Arthur Bell. They said he kept his sick wife locked in the basement. She had a terrible lung condition. He told everyone she'd left him. But one night, a neighbor heard coughing, crying, and the sound of a heavy bolt. The police found her down there. She tried to claw her way out. Her fingers were raw. She didn't make it." Leo's blood ran cold. "What was her name?" "Clara," his grandmother whispered. "Clara Bell." That night, Leo waited. He stood in the dark hall, staring at the phone, a feeling of dreadful certainty coiling in his gut. The clock began to chime. 1, 2, 3. On the 12th chime, the phone rang. He didn't wait for the machine. He snatched the receiver. "Clara," he breathed into the mouthpiece. The weeping on the other end stopped. The breathing held. For the first time, there was a profound, listening silence. "Clara, I'm so sorry for what happened to you," Leo said, his voice cracking. "But you have to stop. This isn't your house anymore. Please. Let go." The silence stretched, thick and heavy. And then, a voice came down the line. But it wasn't the weak, weeping woman he expected. It was a dry, rasping whisper, the sound of stones grinding together. "I'm not Clara." Leo froze, his hand gripping the phone like a vice. The whisper continued, cold and ancient. "You answer every night. You listen. You invite me in. The line is open." From the basement below, there came a sound that stopped Leo's heart. Not the sound of weeping. Not the sound of scraping. It was the sound of a heavy, rusted iron bolt sliding slowly open.